What is good, guys? My name is Henny and welcome to the channel. Today I actually want to do a story time, and today's story is actually going to be about my graduation in the US. I just wanted to share this story for anyone who's actually living abroad or studying abroad and is going through a time of homesickness, moments that were supposed to be shared with loved ones but didn't get to, birthdays, holidays, and whatnot. So this is the story of me going to America, graduating, and not celebrating with my parents. This is a pretty deep story for me because obviously as a Asian-born immigrant, your parents work really hard for you to get to a country like the States, right? Like the US was considered an amazing country with opportunities, the land of freedom, right? You get to go and your label and status becomes, wow, you made it to America, the American dream. So that was my goal when I was younger. Worked really hard to make it to Thailand. And in Thailand, my parents gave me a lot of opportunities for me to learn American programs, learn English, American English, learn about American culture, American history. So I was always growing up with two different cultures. I was going from the US side where I was watching sitcoms, shows, music, games, anything, right? Anything that was created by the US. And then I had the Thai and the Burmese side where I was learning Thai, learning Burmese, learning the culture, learning my roots, and I was always intertwining with that. So as a young age, I was always thinking of making it to America. And I turned 18, and I did. Right? That was one of the biggest achievements in my life, was that I worked so hard to get to America. I mean, I had to do so much. Not only did I have to take the SAT, I also had to take an English proficiency exam. I had to understand the American legal system, right? And the American way of life. And those things, they don't teach you in school, by the way. When I arrived in America, it was a whole different story. And yet alone, I ended up in San Diego, California, where people were speaking in like surfer lingo, in Southern California lingo, and I was like, what? This is not what I thought it was gonna be. All that to say, I was really proud of myself for making it to America, and my parents were also really proud that I made it to America. My whole family was, right? All my relatives were like, dang, Henrik made it to America, that's amazing. And he made it to California as well? Wow, like he must have worked really hard. So I made a lot of sacrifices in my middle school, high school years, right? I was attending a lot of programs. I was making sure I was getting connected to the right people to get to the States. Now, there was almost a point in that journey where I almost didn't make it to the States. Why? Well, because I got scared, right? Like any international student knows that right before you leave, or as you're approaching the date of leaving your home and you're departing and you're realizing school for the next 4 years, and you don't want to leave the comfort zone. You're only 17, you're only 18. Like, it gets scary, right? It gets scary. So for me, I had that moment happen. I actually didn't want to go to school. I didn't want to go to the States anymore because I just felt like it wasn't right for me anymore. It wasn't the best decision I could make for my life. But I went through with it. My friends all said, you need to go, Henrik. But the question that everyone asked was, when will you be coming back? And honestly, that never happened until now. I did come back once in my whole time that I was in States for about 8 years. My whole time from 2017 to 2025, I only came home once, and that was 2019, right before the pandemic. And the pandemic is very important because that one time that I came back home, it was like a blessing from God. Let's just put it that way. It was a blessing from God, because if I hadn't gone home that one time, then that means I wouldn't have came home at all. And even that one time was very brief. I mean, honestly, it was just a summer, and I was doing so much at the time, and I didn't even really get to see everyone that I wanted to. But the important thing was I still got to see my family for a brief bit, and then I headed back to the States. Now, I didn't know, all of us didn't know, that the pandemic was gonna come. So when the pandemic hit, that definitely changed everything. I was thinking to myself, man, I'm in junior year now, and I've also been working my butt off, okay? Like, first year of school, freshman year, I already started working. 2 jobs, by the way, 2 jobs on campus. And that was really stressful because I would have classes at 8 a.m. and then I would work in between classes, all right? I'm talking 8 to 10 class, and then I had a gap from between 11 to 1, work that shift, go to class right after that. It was brutal. I was tired. I remember falling asleep in classes because I needed to survive, right? Like, yes, my parents got me to the States, but transparently and honestly speaking, as an international student, they can't always provide for everything. And you shouldn't expect them to, by the way, right? So for any of you who are watching this and are an international student, you shouldn't be expecting your parents to pay for everything because you chose, one, to get to that new country. When you get to somewhere like the States, right, and you decided that this is the school I want to go to, this is the life that I want to get, you need to work hard to keep that life, right? So for me, I had to work, right? I had to start paying phone bills. I had to start paying for like insurance. I had to start paying for like things that I wanted to do, right? Like if I wanted to go to Target, if I wanted to go to Walmart, if I wanted to go eat In-N-Out, right? Like I had to pay for that too. I can't just be spamming my credit card or my parents' money and tell them, hey, give me some money so I can go eat In-N-Out. That isn't the mindset that you need to be in, especially if you're an international student. That is not the mindset that you should be in. So all that to say, I was struggling, and when I say struggle, I mean I was balancing a lot of things. Like I had a lot of priorities. I was like in survival mode, but I also had to become a full-time student. I had to ace my classes. I had to do good because I was an international student. Like to me, I just felt like I was the underdog. I was underestimated. So I had to keep putting in effort. And at the same time, I was also learning a new country's culture, right? Mind you, I've never lived in the US before. And this was the peak moment when I had to figure out, what am I gonna do in my life? Like, am I gonna just stick with what I know, or am I gonna have to branch out and figure out what I need to build in this country? I did end up building my life in the States. Man, junior year was like a moment where I thought maybe I have to drop out. Maybe I'm gonna have to drop out of college and just go home, pack up my bags and leave. But God made a way happen and I didn't end up dropping out of college. So that was great. I followed through with it. So the first 2 years was pretty tough, but the last 2 years, because it was in the pandemic, yes, classes were slightly a little easier because we were all virtual. There was less stakes, right? There was less like professors on you and all that. Like people were just figuring it out as the new system was happening. I ended up graduating during the pandemic. When I was asking my parents, right, I had this moment with my parents where I asked them, Mom, Dad, will you be able to make it to my graduation, which is happening in a year and a half from now? I had some suspicion that they wouldn't be able to make it, but by the time there was like 2021, like I travel restrictions were kind of getting lifted, right? Like people were starting to travel again. It wasn't full lockdown. So I thought, okay, maybe they might be able to make it for my graduation, because 2020 was for sure locked down. I had friends who were graduating in 2020 and no one could make it. They had like a whole like distance graduation where no one was there attending in person. And 2021 came and I was like, okay, maybe things are gonna get a little better. Like I'm gonna get to at least celebrate with my parents. And so when I called them, they said, no, we will not be able to make it to your graduation. And I'm sure it was really, really tough for them to say that, because one, they attended my brother's graduation for undergrad and the master's, and then I was their second child. Would love to attend to our son in America, but it just isn't possible, and we have to tell him no. And so that's what happened. That's exactly what happened. It really was hard because I remember graduating and I was representing my culture, right? I wore the longji, right? So longji and the traditional Burmese attire, right? I wore the baso, and I had like a sash and everything. I had to get it approved by the school first of all, because I was the only one who wasn't wearing pants graduation, because I was wearing the longji, the baso, right? And so me wearing the baso was a way for me to also show people that this is my culture, and though my parents couldn't make it, I'm still going to stand by my roots. And I also had a sash, right? I had a sash because of the Burmese and Thai flag on there. And man, that was like for me a proud moment, because I myself as an individual got to show the school and also people watching who I am, right? And what my identity lies in, and who I came to represent as well, which is the people from my country, the people who are dreamers, right? The people who have an ambition to make it big in life. And that's exactly why I wore that badge, right? I wore those flags, I wore those badge, and I wore the traditional attire. Yes, I even wore, I'm forgetting what it's called right now, but like the ones that you wear in the wedding, the formal like fit, the white shirt underneath with the thing that you have the knots in, I wore that. And so when my parents couldn't make it, this is not to say I didn't have family in the States. In the first 4 years I was there, I built a strong bond with some people I would consider brothers and sisters till this day. And graduating on that day when my parents couldn't make it and my friends knew that, wow, Henrik's gonna be by himself. Like, dude's not gonna have his mom and dad and brothers or family members to take pictures with, because everyone else had their family, right? Like big families with signs, and they come with like everything. They're celebrating with joy. They're beaming with joy. They're like, you made it through undergrad. You're finally a graduate. I remember just like being in that space with everybody, right? With their family, with their parents. And then, you know, people are just having a good time. And so they'll come over to me and they'll be like, hey, Henrik, like, where's your family? That was really hard for me because people would ask, where's your family, man? And I just smile, right? I just smile, and they couldn't make it. They're like, wait, what? Like, not a single one of them? I said, yeah, unfortunately, none of my family members could make it. My mom's not here, my dad's not here, my brothers aren't here, you know, my aunts, uncles, cousins, no one's here. And I wasn't trying to be like that guy who's like the party pooper, not at all. They felt bad, and they were like, you want to take pictures with my family instead? And so it was amazing. But truth be told, it was hard, right? Because this is a special moment, right? Like, I worked so hard to get to this point. Like, literally, I've sacrificed so much. I worked 2 part-time jobs. I was a full-time student. I was doing extracurricular activities. I was building my new life in America. And I didn't have anyone to celebrate with at the end. As a young man, you're doing it for your family, right? Like, you're doing it for your parents, you're doing it for your brothers, you're doing it for your relatives, right? People who weren't able to make it out. And so in that moment when I was standing in the crowd, right? Like, after I get my degree and I'm like out there taking pictures, you know, people were asking me, where's your family? Where's your family, man? Where's your mom? Where's your dad? Where's your brothers? Like, I heard so much about them. And I just smiled, you know, I just smiled, and a bit of pain in it, bitterness that I didn't get to celebrate with the people I cared about and loved. I was just there, and I was just, man, who am I gonna take pictures with? And I ended up, you know, trying to distract myself, obviously just, you know, conversing with people and whatnot. But, you know, some of my closest friends came over and they said, Henrik, like, let's take a picture right here, man. Like, we are your family. Don't say you don't have family. We are here. And I literally had people who weren't blood at all, like people who I just met in those 4 years, who literally took me by the side, hugged me, and said, I am so proud of you. Your mom and dad will be proud of you. Your mom and dad will be proud of you because you got here, you know, you got here. And they would love to see you. They would love to celebrate with you. And the fact that, you know, you're representing your culture right now, you know, yeah, the fact that you're representing your culture and you're standing here. And man, that got me emotional. It brought me back to that moment where when they said that to me, parents would be proud of you, yeah, you're here. That really spoke to me. And then the fact that, you know, I got to represent my culture also made a big difference, right? So yeah, I didn't get to celebrate my graduation day with my parents, and that was tough. But I realized that family isn't always blood. And there's gonna be people around you that will become family, that will become like your second mothers and fathers, second brothers, second sisters. Like, they will literally become your family, right? They will be there for you just like your family would. And I made this video because I just want anyone out there who's an international student who's struggling, even more so if you're a Burmese international student and you're struggling alone. I know that feeling. I went through it hard. You know, so ironically, or not ironically, but by God's grace, I would say 3.5 years later, I got my opportunity to see my parents again, right? They actually came to the US right before I left. And this wasn't planned, or I mean, they planned it, but I wasn't planning on leaving the States at that point, right? At this time in my life, I wasn't even thinking of leaving yet. And first thing that we wanted to do was take a graduation picture again. Like that to me was so meaningful, and I needed to make that happen because this is the one chance I get. Like they came to San Diego to come see me, and now we get a chance to replicate that moment that we didn't get. So I put on my gown. Fortunate enough, it was COVID, so they said keep the gown, keep everything, don't give it back. So I have my gown, I had my cap, and I had my diploma, and we took some pictures, and I did the walk with them, you know. And I mean, honestly, it was even better because there was nobody in school, nobody on campus. I was wearing my gown, right? And it was like, you know, think of like you're getting to take graduation photos before graduation or after graduation, and literally it's like no one's there to disturb you, right? The ambiance is not the same, of course. I got to put my cap on, and I got to say I graduated with my parents there, and even my parents dressed up, right? Like they actually brought, like my dad brought his suit, my mom brought her like favorite dress, and you know, just a special occasion for me. It was a special occasion. I'll put a picture right here, a couple pictures right here, and to me that I needed that closure because I didn't spend all this time and all these sacrifices for me to just have nothing to show people, right? I'm sure people will believe me because at this point my older brother had graduated, started his life, my younger brother graduated, right? And my parents made it to his graduation. And so I was the only son in the family who didn't get a chance to have my parents, they'd be there with me, right? Of course, I can't change the actual day, the real day itself. I can't change the fact that they weren't there. But at least 3.5 years later, I got to see them again, and I also got to take graduation photos with them. And if you think from a perspective of God working in his ways, right? It definitely was a blessing. Let's be honest here. How would I have known that my parents would have shown up 3.5 years later when I've kind of done well in my career already? I've kind of like stabilized myself in this stage of my life. Having God bring me back to school to take pictures with my parents again. Like think about just that level of planning from God, right? And so God being able to have me graduate, not see my parents and family for the next like 3.5 years, 3 years, and then have them come to San Diego and then celebrate with me. Then a year later, I leave. So, I mean, that's crazy, right? Like that's crazy. Like what if I had left and my parents and we never got a chance to take the pictures, right? Maybe we might have taken it like 10 years later, but that's way too long down the line. All I can say is that God works in mysterious ways, and God works in wondrous ways as well. And the fact that I'm able to look back and reflect on this moment where I went to America, I survived, I struggled, I worked hard, I literally day and night I was putting effort after effort, and I was proving to myself that I belong here. And then when I graduated, all these years, all of a sudden I'm like, whoa, I didn't even get to celebrate my parents. This was the whole point. Like I wanted to be able to celebrate with them, but I didn't get that chance until 3 years later, right? So in total, it was 7 years before I actually even got to see my parents with me in the States fully, right? Fully seeing my life again. So again, I share this story because I hope that it speaks to somebody today. I hope that this story resonates with someone today. And I'm not saying my life was dealt with bad hands. I'm not saying that at all. I am very grateful for the experiences, good and bad, to get to where I'm at right now. Like I'm in Vietnam right now, filming this in a hotel room. 2025, October, my life changed. And here I am, and just living life, building it back, and I'm documenting that, right? I'm documenting that. And so the moral of the story is, don't lose the trust and the faith, right? Don't lose faith in God. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're meant to do, right? Even if in a season you feel like this is the right thing to do, especially in your early adulthood, keep doing what you're meant to do. Be brave for another day. Be brave for the next season of your life, right? Because if you are an international student watching this, I hope that the story of my graduation speaks to you, right? That I didn't get to spend it with my parents, but later on, I did well in the States. I built a whole life in the States, and I'm proud that I can say that I don't regret that, I didn't do what I needed to do. Imagine for the first 5-6 years of my life, I was just messing around, fooling around, not doing anything in the States. And in the last 2 years, I ended up saying, oh my gosh, I need to take my life more seriously. Obviously, if I were to leave, I would have a lot of regrets because I wish I could have done more, right? I wish I could have done more. But to my belief, I felt like I already did everything I could have. Even though, yes, there were some things that maybe I would have altered in the bigger picture, I don't regret what I did because I felt like I already did the most I could. I put in my full effort. And so that's the lesson I want you to take away is make use of the time you have. Don't have it all figured out, okay? Just know that you can always restart, reset, and refocus, okay? Take it from me. I am a 27-year-old Burmese Thai immigrant, and I'm doing what I can, right? Like if you watch my other videos, I've been building an app right now. I've been building a project right now, and it's been a process, you know, but I think having those experiences in the States really taught me to think differently, to think more critically, to think more analytically, to see things and patterns that other people cannot see, right? So that is why I'm saying try everything you can and be productive in your life and do the right things that you're meant to do, okay? Have faith. Have faith in the process. Have faith in yourself. Have faith in God. That's how I survived this long. Even though I was beaten down by life, like graduation during the pandemic, didn't have my parents show up my graduation. Then I had to struggle even more. Early 20s, where I was figuring my life out, whether I'm gonna stay in the States, whether I'm gonna go home. Now I have this pressure of like being an immigrant, and now I'm working through the legal system, and everything was getting crazy. And God always placed the right people in my life. I hope this graduation story gave you a little bit of perspective. I hope you can take away some amazing lessons from this, some value from this. And if you want to know more about what I'm doing, also follow me on hennyway.co on my Instagram. YouTube is gonna be a lot more long form, so I'm gonna be talking basically about my life, documenting my trips that I'm making, the stuff that I'm building right now, the projects that I'm working on. So I'm really excited for that. So thank you for tuning in, guys. Until next time, stay blessed, stay grateful, stay grounded. I love you guys. Praise the Lord. Take care.